Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in discovering just a little bit more of a new Chinese expression a day. And 事不宜迟 is Chinese expression to say you better not procrastinate. You handle it as early as possible because it's not fit for being late. Okay, the risk of being late is not the risk, but the cost of being late is pretty high. It kind of gives you a heads up of what's coming. So we have another expression with two of the same 事不. Okay, last advice was don't be late, right? And this time it's 事不关己. It's a totally different twist of meaning. Okay, we have pronunciation here. Get out of the way first. So last time we talked about the 事不宜迟, right? We have we have this 不 as light tone. We don't have to pronounce it as 事不宜迟, right? We have a 事不宜迟, 事不宜迟, kind of like that. And here you can pronounce it actually both. So this is more formal pronunciation, and this light tone would be more efficient speaking because you don't stop, you speed over it. 事不关己. You can also say 事不关己, right? Okay, let me pronounce it normally. 事不关己, 事不关己, right? Or 事不关己. It's really light. Anyways, this is not my focus. Like pronouncing is not really a focus here. It's understanding the symbols and how things are put together to make a meaning. So 事不, last time talked about 事is handling, because we have this handling symbol, hand symbol, and we have this headgear and bound hairdo, kind of a look of the ancient government officials. So it's like a bureaucracy handling your things. And here, from the verb of handling, processing, whatever your request or submission of things, this becomes issues, like things they're handled. So this becomes issues. And 不 is again negation of this upshooting bird reaching the sky and refusing to come down, saying no to the ground. So that's our legend of why it's a no. It's the bird saying no from the beginning. Okay, 关, I translate it as about, but it came something related to the door. So this two-panel door is often seen in the past. So families have these two door panels. Most often is decorated at the eye level, right? And then at the bottom, kind of blank, big blank space. But the top portion is more decorated. We have this door knocker thing, elaborate thing. But this door symbol have this big space in between there. So that's where language creators put other symbols to go with, like, what about the door, right? So here, what about it is this links, this ring thing with this vertical line with a horizontal line stick to it. This is a mechanism to lock the door. So door lock back then is not like a key opening door lock. Okay, it's some latches to close it to make sure it's firmly, securely closed. So this was used back then as a door lock. So you can see two-panel door, and on each panel there is such a door lock mechanism. And the whole character, it's symmetrical, it's a mirror image, symmetrical, means the latch, the locking of the door. And this locking eventually means not just the individual door, it's the whole door to the country. And that is the one, it's kind of the gatekeeper. So it's the gating, the concept of gating, of locking your enemy out. but keeping the door firmly closed. And that guan eventually extended into, okay, if this is locked in, like you are part of it and you are involved in it, and that's about you or related to you. So that one eventually becomes like relevant to you, to relevancy. So I translate it as about. So issues not about self. Okay, self here is, okay, kind of a rare twist and turn image. So from, instead of a straight line, this way or this way, right? This is kind of having its own path. And that is used as a self-referral. How interesting. One theory is this is the loose rope that's going to be used to bind different threads together. So this is like a binder for the rest of the thread. Okay, we can see it as, okay, you have multiple things in your life. You're that one rope to bind everything together. So it's one unit, like it has the integrity, everything combined, because that's multiple things happening, like your work, your job, your relationships, and all that bind together. You are that thread to running through all that dimensions. So that's one explanation. The second one is what I just realized. It's a flash of thought. Like this, it's kind of life's journey, right? You start at some point and you go kind of a wandering, and sometimes you go backwards, further wandering. It's kind of a random walking through space. So that's kind of like symbolize our life's journey, because we're not going straight line A to B at all. You're going to take turns. You're going to go around the corner, discover some new possibilities, or sometimes you're blocked. You cannot go past through this door is closed on you, but you open another window or something, right? So that concept of self-referral, I think is very poetic to view it like that. So 事不关己, if you see it, it's like issues, handled by the government, but this is general issues. It's not about you, about yourself. That's our way of saying it's none of my business. Hands off. It's not my thing. I'm not going to get pissed off by this or get agitated for this. That's a kind of attitude. 事不关己. Simply disfranchised. I guess that's a better. I mean, this is a commonly used word in English in 2022. Disfranchised is kind of none of my business attitude. And in Chinese, there's a 事不关己. So here I'm showing a guan of the national guan is the Great Wall, is this national, nation in the context of history back then of the agriculture-based society of China living in that space, right? And then we have this northern nomadic tribes that are good with horses and herding, and they have a different lifestyle, and they are on horses. So basically they are taller and more muscular, actually. They are better warriors. So how the people, farming, they look different. They do different things too. So how can they defend themselves? They build this great wall, right? So that is the guan. In fact, we will use guan ai, so add another character to make sure you understand it's not just your door, your domestic door. It's your national, like your whole, country's door to gate out, to keep the invaders outside your country, your space. So that's the guan. And the Great Wall eventually kind of used almost like a symbol of this country, because that's kind of a collective effort. So many lives lost building this wall, right? You can imagine this is a quite gigantic civil engineering. I mean, this is military engineering that actually back then. So this is like holding the whole nation protected from the outsiders. And it's a symbol of holding these people together, protected under this one huge arch of, 家 and 国. It's like your home, but it's your whole country protected together. So that's the concept of 天下. And here, 修身齐家治天下. Well, I'm probably going to do an episode on that just separately. Is kind of attitude of against this none of my business. It's actually give you a path of how can you participate. You first fix yourself. 修身, fix yourself. Get yourself stronger and mentally, like cognitively also well developed. And that's your phase 1. And then phase 2 is then you 齐家, you make your household prosper. You have your, all your lives. Back then it's multiple lives or multiple generations together, and you branch out, become like a bigger extended family, and people are all well developed and doing their, trade or walks of life, become government officials, or I don't know. Back then there are still some choices of what you do. So that's 齐家. You have a, concentric, like people are a kind of a strongly bind it together. That's kind of family, right? Family oriented. So yourself and then your family. And then the third step is then you care about the whole. 天下 means under the sky. So we are looking at the same sky. That's the same tribe or the same, blood line, even if it's not your blood kind of lineage, but people are sharing the same land and the space under the same sky. So that's our concept of 天下. It's your not exactly nation, but people who are sharing the same land as you. And if you're good enough to manage yourself, manage your household, and then probably you can one day manage the whole land of people. That's the path of leadership back then, the advice. So that's the exact opposite of this checking out, this none of my business, this franchised attitude. That's like once you get yourself fixed, get your family prosper, support, and get your family running well, and then one day you can run the whole country. Of course, it's within the gated wall, great wall. Okay, I'm getting too excited about this concept though. Okay, I'm going to share one day about that, but today is about this attitude of none of my business. 事不关己. Cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.